So, we survived Friday the 13th. Yesterday was one of the quietest days we ever did on patrol. Everything we got a call for an accident, we'd get there and it would be absolutely nothing in sight, or the tow trucks are there, or the road hazard wasn't there. So we did 62.5 miles of driving from A to B to B to A to A to B. But it was nice because we didn't have to get out of the cars. It was 91 degrees at the high and, just crazy weather. So last week we talked. I see Kenneth is all set. He's got the Atomium up behind him. But we had seen some the movie last week of the Expo 58, and people were talking about the Atomium, and that started me thinking that I had bought a huge collection of Expo 58 postcards a number of years ago. That every time I was looking for something else, that box would show, or actually a bag, the bag would show up and get in my way. And I finally said, I need to do something with it, and I'll start scanning them. So we're going to be looking at postcards, and we will try to, let's see, let me share screen here. Oh, can I share screen? And gotta find, oh, here we go. Okay, so these are all rough scans. They're going to be at all sorts of weird angles and things like that, and not have the colors corrected. But on some of them, they're easy to tell what they are. Others, I'm going to have to look at the captions on the back. But here you have the United States Pavilion. You had the fountain out front, and then the Vatican Pavilion off to the side. The Cold War was really big at this point in time, so the U.S. and the USSR both got massive plots of land, and the USSR built their building out on their site. The US went a lot of it with a fountain. I did find one postcard in here which I got a real kick out of. Let me read the caption of it. It's a postcard of the this is the United States building. The building itself is spectacular, but inside a nightmare. It must have been dreamed up by a commie. The fairgrounds are beautiful, beautiful flowers, and of every description. But I got a kick out of it. It must have been dreamed up by a commie. We've talked before in meetings how Disney had to come to the rescue with Circle Vision, and it's a good thing that they did, because inside again was sort of lackluster. This again shows the Cold War in close proximity, the USSR off to the left, and just across the courtyard, the United States. And on this particular one, we say the USA. Okay, on the left we have the Arabic countries. In the middle we have the United States, and off to the right the Holy See, which is what they were calling the Vatican Pavilion. And some of these are pretty neat. So you get some pretty neat descriptions on some of these. This one is the Nation Circus. On the left, the arrow of the French Pavilion. So there were two giant things that stuck out in the air like that. I always get them confused. One is the French Pavilion, which is empty. You can see it's three different things coming together. And another one looks very similar to, which is the Civil Engineering Pavilion. Up here, excuse me, underneath the green Skyway car is a walkway that took you from a part of the site across to the other. And then down below you had more pavilions.
Oh, that's not a monorail trick.
Nope, they did not have a monorail there. I think monorail started being big at fairs in '62. So this particular one is the Esplanade, and it's the allegory of the four Amen children. I have no idea what that means. It's something to look up. The four Amen, A-Y-M-O-N children. So something for future research. I always love the building in the back that looks like the giant vacuum tube. We'll see more of that coming up. So the Skyway was a big feature. It never got up particularly high as it went through the fairgrounds, but it did give you a view. This is called Benelux Avenue, and on the left is the Pavilion of Luxembourg. Again, World War II had only been over a few, I guess about a decade at this point in time. And there were still ruins of stuff all over Europe, and this was a big thing for Expo 58 to kind of come back and say it's been redone. But look how stark and modern some of these things are, like the Luxembourg Pavilion. I look at things like this, and all I can think is, how do you keep those windows clean? Then this is the place and porch of Belgium. Looking across the Atomium, the other buildings on the left and right were existing buildings there from an earlier exhibition, and they had been repurposed for this one. And here we have the fountains of the Belgian place. So again, modern sculpture in the background there, but you can see the more traditional one up on the roof. It looks like eagles or whatever up there. Then we get some concept art every now and then. So this is the main hall gate. And if we hop over here, we get Iran. It's very clever that they put it up on the wall there. Nice flowers, as the postcard said, flowers of every kind all over the place.
Were we
And
friendly with Iran back in those days?
what's that?
Were we friendly with the country of Iran back in
Oh
those
yeah,
days?
yeah.
Yeah.
Back in these days, we were.
Yeah,
That was
we
back in
had
62.
fairly recently installed the Shah.
Right. Yep. This is a view from the Belgian section. So again, lots of very modern. They were trying to show you how everything was crystal clean. But it looks like everything was done in Denmark. As far as Danish modern type stuff, everything very sharp and clear. Then we
Those red beams supporting the roof like that,
Yeah.
that's very much like Mies van der Rohe's building at the Illinois Institute of Technology.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's an interesting design for sure. Then we have fountains in the inside view of the Pavilion of Great Britain. So we'll look at this, and I think of the fountain at the movie, what was it, Splash, with the mermaid.
In the back is Monaco and Spain.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you see the M, that's Monaco, and then
Right.
Yeah.
the zigzag building to the right is Spain. It was moved to Madrid and is currently being renovated.
Oh, really? Wow, it's nice to know it survived.
Yeah.
Then a bunch of these are in black and white, which gives them some real nice, clear, sharp images. This is inside the Italian pavilion. And here we have the section of the Italian pavilion, and this section was called the Roads. To me, it looks like a restaurant. You always wonder,
What is hanging from the ceiling?
let's see, looks grapes. I don't know. See if we can.
Not Italian salami.
Could be garlic.
Looks like
Um,
garlic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where-
Yep.
Probably some other herbs and stuff up there.
Yep. What's interesting is you wonder with the translation on some of these how accurate they got it. This section of the Italian pavilion is called the Man. So again, I don't know how you come up with it because it looks like a giant boar in the center of it.
Well, there's a man to the right.
Yeah, a sculpture of some kind there. This is, okay, can anybody guess what the name of this one is?
The bar.
That's what I would have thought, right?
Yeah.
And
Looks like a pizza oven back there.
yeah, the title of this one is a section of the Mercantile Navy from the Italian section.
Oh.
I look at it and I'm trying to figure out where is the Navy,
Well, where's the mercantile?
Yeah, that's
It's
what I'm
more like
saying.
a bar.
I don't see anything Navy on it, but it looks like, what do we have here in the background? Italian ice. The big
Yeah,
thing
gelato.
brought up in Brooklyn was going to some of the Italian restaurants and getting Italian ice. Then we have a few that have no description on it. So, Randy, do you recognize this one? I think it's Africa.
I do. Yeah, it might be part of like the Congo, Belgian Congo section.
Yeah, like I said, no description on that one. Then here, if we zoom in here, Venezuela. Another one with no name. I think it might be part of Venezuela still.
Yeah, it looks like that building in the background.
Yeah, just comparing the two of them, right. Then we go back to the wonderful world of color, obviously Portugal. Looks like the 64 flag hanging up there, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this particular one is the Pavilion of Austria, which again reminded me a bit of the 64-65 fair pavilion, just without the giant A, arches over it.
Yeah,
But
this
it's
building exists somewhere in Europe. I don't remember where.
nice to know that a bunch of these were what you call it, repurposed.
A lot of them were. I was surprised. Yeah.
Hungary. And oh boy, look at that commie building there. God. And it says, let's see. Granny and son went to the exhibition grounds. We rode our last night to see it lit up and it was beautiful. So nice to know it's appreciated. And whoever sent that to Mr. and Mrs. Michael Rogers in Canton, Massachusetts, left a stamp off and it got there, postage due 13 cents, the foreign section, General Post Office, New York. So it's all canceled. It's a great postcard, but it's all
What
canceled.
building is that?
Just left
What
off.
building is that?
That's the
US building.
A
United
US building.
States. Yeah, United States. But imagine just no stamp and off it went. They sent it over. You wonder if that 13 cents ever got sent back over to Belgium. And this is inside Hungary, is a an inside view, which I guess if you know Hungarian, binnenlicht, zit means inside view. And our good friends from the Soviet Union.
I don't know if this survives anywhere. I don't think it does.
I think they did bring this one back. I don't know if it still survives or not.
Oh, okay.
I think they did bring it back.
Maybe back to that same exhibition center where the
Yeah.
Expo 67 pavilion is. Yeah.
That's right. I think that's where it went. And sometimes you have the same thing on two slightly different postcards and the backs are different, so I scanned them both. Then, hopping over to the next one here. We have the inside of the USSR, and it looks like a tent here, a yurt or whatever it might be called. But they love to go for large maps of the country showing all their gas, extraction facilities and other odds and ends. So this, we've seen it in others, and they did it here. And then we're going to go and we're going to see a lot of the Atomium, being the theme structure. They had a, on the back here, it says stamped at the Atomium. And it's just a red stamp on the back of it. And I guess it was a real thrill that you could get the thing done. But in case you want statistics, it is 335 feet high. The spheres are 69 feet in diameter, and it weighs 2,200 tons.
How big was the Unisphere? How tall?
Oh God, I don't know off the top of my head.
140 feet. 140 feet.
Oh, okay. This is a lot
How tall
bigger.
was this? How tall? This is 300 something?
335.
So you figure this is half
Unisphere,
the
when
height.
even Unisphere would come up to the middle of that thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be half the height of the Space Needle, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the Atomium by night, and again by night. And out the Atomium during the day. Let's see, this one. Thank you for your letter. In April I was made a consultant by my firm. I expect to find some other work to keep occupied, but meanwhile, I'm taking a 7-week trip to Europe, visiting Denmark and Germany. Just spent 2 days here. The exposition is huge and attractive. Back home, August 18th. And somebody in Palo Alto. So I'm being a voyeur. I'm reading all their secret stuff. Most of these are unused postcards. Every now and then you do come up with a thing here at the base. So here now we get to go inside. So this last week people were asking, how do you get all the way up? Here is the elevator. So if you go in here, we can zoom in on the sign. Randy had mentioned last week about the elevator. So here is the elevator, the Atom hoop, I guess, but
Atom hoop.
going on up, and you can see the hostess is over here to the side. And there is the staircase that went up, because besides having an elevator, there was also a staircase, which I think was pretty much used for emergency access. But now you want to go inside, you want to eat. Here's the restaurant up at the top inside the 69-foot sphere. So you didn't have a great view. I imagine if you sat over here, you probably were very envious of the people sitting over by the window.
I wonder if that was like a whispering gallery where you could hear the conversation from the table across the room.
Yeah, you wonder what the acoustics were like in there. And then to get between tube and tube, you had escalators that went all the way up and down. And where you didn't have escalators, you had stairs. So this is the staircase between two spheres.
That's a lot of steps.
It is. Like I said, I was very disappointed that when I went there, it was being refurbished.
Well, did the elevator go straight up to the center, directly to the top sphere?
Doesn't, I don't know. Maybe it went up there. I don't know. It's hard to think of.
I think that was the elevator's primary purpose was to reach the restaurant on the top.
Right. This next one, this one here has a whole bunch of interesting information about Belgium, which I am going to share with you, because you come here for the factoids you can't get anywhere else. This is the theme design of the Brussels World's Fair of 1958, which still stands. This card was postmarked a year later. It is a real beautiful sight. The only country in the world where you need no license to drive a car is Belgium. Now, this next factoid I have not verified, but there is no sliced bread here. It really is the old world. How are you doing with your craft projects? Be sure to write to Brian. Let me know if you need anything. Love, Mom and Dad. So that was sent to somebody at Bucks Rock Work Camp in New Milford, Connecticut. Bucks Rock Work Camp. But
How did they support those spheres during construction?
beats me.
They're 69-foot diameter spheres.
Yeah, I think that, I know I've got pictures somewhere of construction. I think those staircase things were built first, I think.
So each sphere is half the size of the unisphere.
Yeah.
That's pretty good size. And beautiful Brussels. Here's one for you, Brock.
Yeah.
You can start collecting stamps from this fair now. But the Pavilion of Tel Expo, how they got their own postcard, I don't know.
It almost looks like the US pavilion, you know, somewhat, that circular part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, more and more. There's lots of Atomium postcards, that's for sure. And sometimes, like the next two were the same picture, but they came in two different manufacturers and two different sizes. So, like I said, I'm just scanning them all, and what I'll do with them, who the hell knows. There it gets a nice view of the windows there. The thing is big.
Yeah. Looks like that one tube does go from the bottom sphere to the middle sphere to the upper one. That's probably the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
And there's the restaurant. I wonder how many people the elevator held. It couldn't have been very big.
Well, if it was in Japan, you'd probably get 20 people in it.
With the official pushers and shovers.
Yes, exactly.
Now, this is Gay Belgium, which was their terminology for beautiful Belgium, the recreated village. And you
By the way, what's it made of? Is that stainless steel?
I think it's aluminum.
Well, when it was renovated, it was covered with something else. It's a material because it had really oxidized and faded or whatever.
Yeah.
That whatever it's covered with now presumably won't do that.
That's quite a juxtaposition of styles. So we're in a corner of Gay Belgium. Another view of the fountain there. Then we get some concept art from Gay Belgium.
The thing about this Belgian village, I guess, which made it a lot different than New York, was it was accessible after hours. So I think it was open till like 2 a.m, maybe even later, and it was really a popular. There were lots of nightclubs in there, dance halls, beer halls.
Yeah, they finished theirs, unlike New York, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, you look this with the bridge and everything, you could think this is concept art, and there's the bell tower. You think it's concept art, it could be right out of New York or Chicago for that matter.
Was that also designed to be temporary, or would it have lasted all these years?
Nope, it's all temporary. And the Holy See, Vatican again. Here's the other giant arrow-like structure standing out. That's a civil engineering pavilion, and they were showing how they built this entire thing on one cantilevered structure, anchored here at the base, to give you an idea of just what engineers could do and how they could make things seemingly float in air. Down below this concrete wall, is a relief map of the country of Belgium, which I think was still there a number of years ago. Do you know if that survived? It's still there, Randy?
You mean the
map.
building is gone? The building lasted for several years after the fair, but it eventually was torn down. I'm not sure about the garden, below.
Yeah, I think my parents said it was still there when they had a visit. I don't remember when I was there. And we got a whole bunch of things here in this one. You can see the Skyway Towers over there. So this is the church, the electronic carillon, and pavilions. So again, the church, the carillon for the bell, the Vatican, and then pavilions. But if we zoom in on it, can't quite make out the name on it. If I remember right, this was a restaurant. Yeah, so you can see restaurant, and I can't quite make out the rest here. But 3-story restaurants, so definitely take advantage of a small space and feed a lot of people.
Did they serve Catholic food?
On Fridays, you can only get fish.
That's right.
Especially back then. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's the Pavilion of France, again, the other cantilevered structure going out. The Skyway would look right at home at Disneyland, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I often wondered if they were designed by the same company, but
I think it was. I think it was a Von Roll system, the same one as Disneyland. More concept art. This is a playground for children. I don't know if this was ever actually built because I have not recalled.
yeah, I've seen pictures of this. Yeah, it was built.
Oh, the rocket was built. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the amusement area.
Yeah. And we have the Pavilion of Switzerland concept art. I imagine those are all the Swiss cantons. So from concept art to reality, the flags are better in this one. They're just streamers in this particular one. But they did get, if we notice, they got the important stuff, the rock and the chairs, and there's the rock, and there they are. So came out nice. Then we hop over to the Hawaiian Village in the amusement zone. You have to remember, Hawaii wasn't a state yet, right?
Oh,
Say, Bill,
Yeah.
when you just scanned these quickly, but you didn't. Have you? They were just basic scans. You haven't gone ahead and processed them or anything like that, color corrected
No.
or anything.
These are all just the raw scans.
Okay. I was curious when there was a photograph. There was a couple of photographs a few steps back that had the photographs had the little ridged edges on the photograph itself. When you finalize these, you're going to crop that off, or not?
What are you looking for?
some of the postcards, I depended on the manufacturer, had the scalloped edges. I
Oh, the
guess.
scalloped edges. Yeah, they're called decal edges. They're done by some. Yeah, some manufacturers went with them. This is Switzerland again, and others did not. In some cases, the same manufacturer used both decal and straight edges. It was just a fad of the times that they matter of fact, for the '64 fair, there's a whole bunch of decal and straight edge cards as well. So
Okay. Well, my question was when you finalize these, will you crop off those scalloped edges or not?
no, I'll probably just leave the white background behind it to show them.
Oh, okay, because I think that adds character to it. I mean,
Yeah.
for instance, like this one here, you could do a little white balance correction on it, to sharpen it. But I just kind of thought that, looking at the photographs themselves as photographs rather than just as a picture adds a little bit of character to it, particularly those with the scalloped edges on it. I was just curious what your intention was.
What I've also done, and I'm not showing you today, is I've scanned all the backs of them. So when I put them on my website, I'll have the front of the card and then the back of the card as well. But since there are so many of the backs just saying the exact same thing, I just wanted to, we'd be here forever today. For each of these, I scan them once as a plain scan, once with the digital ice feature, and once with Epson, what you call it, dust removal, and I'll work on whatever the best of those is, then do the color correction. So here we have Luxembourg. Like I said, whoever sold the glass to this place, they must have done real well, glass factory. This one's probably easy for folks to figure out. Thailand. Again, being 1958 and being in Europe, you don't see t-shirts and stuff, and everybody's so well dressed and everything. No jeans and different world. Boy, there's the Kami Pavilion again. The fountains were really impressive, and again, it was a great way to use up a large amount of space and not have to spend a lot of money to build something else on it. And for whatever reason, this one's written on the other side, not for sale at Interpex number 26. So somebody went to some postcard show and whatever. Greetings from the fair, having a wonderful time here. And this is called the Nation Circus. In the background, the USSR. So you had the signposts, we'll zoom in a little here. This one, by the way, you can see all the little dots. I've got to go back and rescan some of these with what's called de-screening feature on, because some of these are printed up as a zillion little dots and they get pixelated. So I've got to go back and do it. So this depends on the printing method used for each of the cars. But these are the signposts getting your way around. The fair had different zones, and you can see that this one is telling you to go to this zone over this way, this zone over this way, and then there's signs down below with more verbiage on where to find things.
Those supports are for the overhead pedestrian walkway?
Yes, that's right.
Why is it so heavy looking? It looks like a support a superhighway. I mean, if
Yeah.
you scan up and down, look how strong it is.
Well, they
Look at the size
did
of those
run.
beams.
Yeah, they did run a tram system up there.
Right.
Just rubber wheel trams.
Yeah, they were probably
Yes.
trying to show you how they could build bridges and come them. They did do
Yeah, it's
some.
massively strong looking.
They are, and then they also put artwork along them, so you can see if you look down, there's, they dressed them up with some modern art. This one here is the Benelux Gate, so a big tower, just like in New York, we had those towers to let you know where the gates were. Here, you could go and do it. Now here, okay, what car is it?
Where
Looks like a Mercedes.
that does.
It's an English car. It's an English car.
Could be an English car, but it also looks like it could be a Mercedes.
Yeah, the grill looks a lot like a Mercedes.
There's a
Now,
whole
the
little
interesting
parking
thing
lot.
about this gate, that tower, there are guy wires that support that the roof. What would that be called? That shape, delta wing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see it coming from the tower. Yeah, these wires here are from the tram system outside there. Each of the gates was different, and they all had some kind of really interesting architectural feature about them.
The little parking lot back here looks like all sorts of identical cars. So being right inside the gate, I wonder if these are used for VIPs or that sort of thing. A bus, that one I could identify. Here, this looks like an early one of the USA because there's all the fountains are off. So you wonder again, not a lot of people and everything. Is this a pre-opening postcard view, that you're trying to get it out there? But you can see where all the piping is put in place for all those fountains that we're going to see when it's open, spinning around.
That looks like DuPont from 1964.
Yeah, yeah. And we get the beautiful or gay Belgium. Again, looks like it could be transplanted out of Chicago or out of New York. And here we have the Pavilion of Urbanism and Eternity. So,
Well, yeah, that sculpture behind it was called the Eternate.
yeah. Goes up the flagpole. You have any idea what was in the Urbanism Pavilion?
I should have my guidebook. It's upstairs.
Well, mine's upstairs too. Huh.
Yeah, does us a lot of good, doesn't it?
Yeah. This one, the caption is pretty neat. Now, we heard before that it was the only country in the world that can drive without a license, right? Which I never knew, and I assume by now they have it, but you might appreciate the caption on this one. Dear Felice, the giant needle remains in Brussels from the 1958 World's Fair. It is very large. The only underlined country in the world where you can drive a car with no license is Belgium. Ambulances are quite active.
Bill, is there a postmark date on this one?
Yeah, 1962.
So it was there,
Yeah.
years after the fair closed. Yeah, I remember you knew Bill Orth, right, Bill?
What's that?
You knew Bill, was his name Bill Orth? Ed Orth, Ed, I'm sorry. Orth, O-R-T-H. Do you remember that name?
No, not
He
offhand.
was the one that published that World's Fair newsletter on yellow paper.
Oh, Ed Orth?
Orth, yeah.
Yeah, Ed Orth. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Somewhere he had mentioned at one time that he had gone one year and it was there, then he went a few years later and it was gone. So I want to say that probably survived till maybe like the late 70s.
Well, yeah. It's interesting. I have most of the Ed Orth newsletters. It's on my list of things to digitize because there's so many facts and stuff that was in there. You were one of the real early members of the Echo
I was,
organization.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny the things Echo. Do you remember what it stood for?
No, I don't.
No, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, he lived right near me. And he's unfortunately passed away. His collection is now at the Smithsonian.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he died, his brother sent out notices to everybody, I guess, on Ed's mailing list and mentioned what was going to become of his collection and all that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it survived relatively intact.
Yeah.
So this is a restaurant inside Joyous, Belgium. And this, I believe, is a model of what the U.S. Pavilion was going to look like. They never went quite with that giant eagle and the seal in the center of it. This is, again, things that are interesting. This was postmarked first day of issue. It's got the U.S. stamp of the U.S. Pavilion on it. And it was done April 17th. Why they would have this here, the first day of issue was in Detroit, Michigan. And to show how things are so simple, the entire address on it's a little rubber stamp, Darrell F. Davis, Superior, Nebraska. Now I have no idea how big Superior is, but he didn't even have a street name or anything on it. So, but yeah, I wonder why they did the first day of issue in Detroit. Then I guess
You mean for that US stamp?
yes.
Sometimes they just pick a city that there's sometimes a group will sponsor a first day ceremony. A lot of times they're done by stamp clubs. So that's usually what the deal is with US stamps. So it could have been that either there was some, either a stamp club was having, some kind of convention and they wanted to be able to have the stamps there. They picked different reasons. They just announced one, like the happy birthday stamp that's coming out is going to be in some places. Like, why would they pick that spot? But they did. I can't remember what it was. I just read it yesterday, what city it was in, but it was just like, I wonder why they chose that place for the happy birthday stamp. So, first day ceremony.
Well, now we've learned that. We've learned that they didn't need driver's licenses and that they didn't have sliced bread. We're on a roll today.
On a roll, is that
Oh, roll. Oh, God, bad pun. No. This is the church. Then we go over here, and this is a mountain of stuff here. This is Foliation Avenue and the pavilions of the Arabic countries. Foliation Avenue.
Is that a Chrysler?
Yeah, it looks like an Imperial.
Yeah.
Right, sort of
Massive
Imperial.
front bumper.
Oh yeah.
That's a massive bumper. The bumper weighs 500 pounds.
With Dagmars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that too. Looks like a chauffeur and mechanics leaning against it.
Yeah.
Well, the US pavilion, I think, would be off to our right. So I wonder if this had something to do with a dignitary.
Could be. And how about this little bugger?
Well, we know it's not a Cadillac.
Not a Volkswagen.
Fiat, probably.
I was trying to figure out what this rack was that was on the back of it.
Probably for holding luggage or
Bicycle.
something like that.
Bicycle rack.
Or I was thinking
Could
maybe
be a bicycle. Yeah.
maybe just pushing it to get it out of the way.
Yeah, very elaborate.
Yeah, it doubled as a shopping cart.
Yeah. This is the fountains and porches, the main entrance area. Belgian Avenue and the Hall of Graphic Arts. I really wish I could have seen this. Again, the design of some of these buildings I find very striking. Then we go over here. This is Morocco, which being a Bob Hope fan, every time I hear the word Morocco, I think just like Bing Crosby and Bob Hope, just like Webster's Dictionary, were Moroccan.
Morocco bound. We're off on the road to Morocco.
To Morocco. Yeah. I love all those Hope movies.
Oh, they're funny. Yeah.
And we have Thailand. Nice that they put a sign out here telling you who did it and everything. But up top, you had a kind of empty area. And I don't know what was down below here, displays or not. This looks like the gateway to eternity or something over there. So this is the main hall by night. Again, this whole facade was added here for Expo, and the main building is the long rectangular building back behind it. And I have the answer here. Anybody want to guess which this one might be? It's right there in the center.
Oh, yeah,
Dominican Republic.
yeah, okay.
And in the back, a nice place you can go get yourself a nice cold Stella beer.
I think that's outside the grounds, actually.
Think that one is?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
could be. I know they were on site. I do see pictures of them elsewhere.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah.
And Cambodia. And the Arrow of Civil Engineering. That's a pretty impressive structure when you look at it.
Well, and something you don't, I mean, you can kind of see it in this picture. There's, let's see, hanging off that arrow is a walkway, a zigzag walkway that allowed you to get an aerial view of that map.
Yeah, here's the staircase that went up, and then it would walk over either into the pavilion or out of the pavilion over the walkway, and then you can just make out the map down there. Again,
Yeah.
the 3D map of Belgium. And here is, again, same arrow with a sculpture in front. And in this particular case, a different angle of it, the Arrow of Civil Engineering, which they totally misspelled, pointing proudly to the sky. Liechtenstein. One of the things that struck me as I went through these cards doing them was just how truly a World's Fair this was. I mean, you don't think at many other World's Fairs on some of the pavilions that you've seen here, like Liechtenstein, for example. You know, that they're just such a small country, they didn't participate in any large effort in other fairs. So, again, my aunt went to this and came back very enthusiastic about it. I would have loved to have seen it.
Well, Bill, the international participation, I think it was around 50 countries.
Yeah.
But heavy emphasis on Europe, I think, because of the location of the expo. I've noticed that when I went to like Seville and Hanover, that there are, you know, heavy European participation. Like I say, you wouldn't see a Liechtenstein pavilion in Osaka.
No, that's what I said. It just struck me out as so many that are here that are not in others. This is the Congo Avenue. And then we go back over to Thailand again. One of the things that was interesting is how much wooded the area is. They had to actually, in some cases, fit the pavilions in. There were certain trees in that were protected that they could not take down, so that they had to do an awful lot of open air cafes and things in that area because of the I think it was do you know, Randy, it was a national or city or whatever park.
That section of the fair was added for 58. You know, the 1935 fair went up to a certain point, and 58 they determined they needed whatever 150 more acres, and so they there's a royal palace adjacent to this area where this pavilion and most of the international pavilions are. And so that land was lent to the Fair Corporation, I guess by the royal family, I don't know. But anyway, you know, one of the big things, they could not go in and like grade these things to be flat, remove all the trees. So that's why you see pavilions like Germany and Switzerland are lots of modules strung together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like like Germany, you see different levels. One will be sitting up on a hill. Then you have like a ramp that goes down to the one that's ground level, because they had to avoid grading anything to accommodate the structure. They had to work around the existing landscape.
Yes, it's quite a challenge. You know, I talk about like when you do the New Orleans Fair, you had to work around an existing railroad line or anything. But this one had had to have some real challenges. The good news is we got you a plot. The bad news is a big tree in the middle of it. Here is the USSR, and off to the right is this is called Nation Circus and Pavilion of USSR and Arabic countries. And here we have the view at the amusements gate.
That building on the left is called the Martini Bar.
Yeah, we got a nice shot of that coming up.
And it was actually kind of hooked up to the Belgian Village. I'm not in it because it was such a modern structure, but it was all part of that complex where you could go in after hours and have drinks and dance and have a meal.
Maybe that's one of the things they couldn't move, an old log. Benelux, you gotta have the host country, right? You gotta have a fancy pavilion. Some are real easy to figure out who they are. Like that one was easy. Sudan. Fairly small, but again, you know, I know they had a Sudanese bird at the 64 fair, but they were just part of the overall Africa pavilion. They didn't have their own.
I thought, didn't Sudan have its own building in New York? No.
They had one in the Africa pavilion. They had a Sudan tent.
Which is the one I'm thinking that was that kind of undulating? Oh.
Jordan?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, Jordan was the undulating one. This one, speaking of Germany, here you go and you have a modern art piece of sculpture out here. But again, the German pavilion. I guess they couldn't flatten it out, so you build it up there. The color pictures of this, I have a bunch of them. You can see inside, very, very colorful. And more, the pavilion of Benelux. And back to joyous Belgium. Like I said, these were not in any particular order, obviously. This looks like about as exciting as the New York version. I mean, again, I wondered if this was done before it opened because it looks like it still has dirt streets and
Yeah, I was noticing that too. It looks like they've just barely graded it, getting it ready for pavement and stuff.
right.
They got a lot of decals in the windows and things too.
Yeah, this must have been before the fair opened because most photos you see of the fair, you know, while it's open, this is always crowded. The village, because like I said, it was a center to go get food and drink, and it did so successfully.
Yeah, that's why I think they had such high hopes for it for New York.
Yeah, sure.
And back to Iran. Now we come up with another one that doesn't show up in a lot of World's Fairs. Nicaragua.
Yep.
They had gotten close to having a pavilion for a 64 fair, and there's a great book, Hi Ho, Off to the Fair, and he talks about trying to deal with the government and on again, off again, off again, on again, and obviously. Then here, the next one, the Martini Club that Randy mentioned. I imagine you could get a martini in there, huh?
Seems likely.
I'm going to just go back here 1 second. Any idea what the shadow is here?
Reflection.
It's a reflection from.
Reflection, I meant.
Looks like it's a lighting structure. It might be used for lighting the beam structure. You can see also in there.
Yeah, the Atomium. Yeah, it could be.
And here we have Star Circus and Benelux Avenue. So
that building in the lower left corner where your cursor is was part of the Skyway, I believe.
yes, I believe that's the Skyway station, one end of it.
Because
you can see the pole for the Skyway just across.
Yeah, right in front of it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
the lower left.
Yeah, the Skyway had more than one line. It just didn't go straight from one side of the grounds to the other. It went it might not have been this building, it went to a building and then it went off another way towards the Vatican and another way towards that Benelux gate.
You can see this cars
The
right
bucket.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Hours.
Yeah, there's a bucket there.
Yeah.
Right. Easy to tell that one.
Yeah.
Now, once
And-
again, couldn't tear those trees out.
Nope. So and it couldn't grade it, so you put it up on some pillars and fit it in there. I imagine there's probably some horticulturists running around all the time, just keeping everybody honest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, oops, that tree fell down. What
Yeah,
tree?
truck
Tree
backed
there?
into the tree. We'll have to just take it out now.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the civil engineering.
It's interesting that one photograph that looked at it kind of 90 degrees to the angle we're
Yeah.
at must have also been shot very close to it because it made it look like it was shooting way up into the air rather than
Yeah.
out like it does here.
Yeah, my feeling was it was probably shot down here looking up at it.
Yeah.
The USSR, the USA, and the Holy See.
And this gives you a good idea how Vatican and USSR took advantage of that plaza built by the Americans.
Right. Again, big empty space here, huh?
Well, it shows you too that there's a USA and right next to it's the Vatican. So God was on our side.
All right, everybody votes for Brock to keep his day job. The fountains are going well. And here we have Atomium Avenue and the pavilions of the sewing art. So this one, I first looked at it, I first thought it looked like the Huffro House at Seattle 62, but you know, one thing that struck me, how many pictures we looked at today? I haven't seen any nuns yet.
Yeah, that's the Singer building. See Singer there?
Yeah,
So that's the sewing art,
right.
Where do you see Singer?
Singer sewing machines.
I don't see the word singer anywhere.
Oh, I do, yeah.
Right in the middle glass window on the
Yeah.
right-hand part of the
Above
pavilion.
above the crowd of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can't quite make it out. There it is.
Singer.
MOUSE.
Good eyes. Then we have here Star Circus. And looks like quite a crowd doing something here. So
There's
I don't
some
know if
weird
somebody's
trees.
entertaining over here or what, but what. And here's the station, the telelift.
This is the one where you
Right.
can see it's cut from our right, it's going into that building and it comes back out at a different angle.
Yeah, you can see it. Yep.
Yeah. And this,
I wonder if, probably not, but I know the royal family made many visits. The Belgian royal family made many visits to the fair, primarily because they had that palace. You know, they could walk over kind of. I'm sure they didn't, but
What pavilion is in the background in the center
I
there?
think that's part of the Congo.
Okay.
look
Because
at
it looks
the-
like there's a huge lineup of people to go into that one.
Yeah, that looks like the line.
And by the way, that should be called the Belgian Congo
The
because that's
Belgian,
what it was at that time.
Right, yeah, it was, correct. That's why it had such a big presence. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to them, it was just the Congo because it was theirs. It's
Okay.
like the line from The Happiest Millionaire in Ireland, all this too is Irish. And we go back, we see more. Okay, here we go. Here is the Netherlands Pavilion, the Caroline. I managed not to slip that one around.
I think that might have been what we saw reflected in that glass earlier. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
was looking at that too and wondering if it was.
Yeah.
But it looks too far away from the theme structure. Unless it was just the angle of view and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reflection picked it up and brought them closer together.
All right.
Two of those. It's interesting. There are two I'm holding the two cards here. They're the exact same. Nope, they're not the exact same. Okay, let me just go back real quick. So we have this one and this one. The difference being that this one's slightly closer. So whoever this company was that put these out, Egacart, they really went at it. The first one's card number 1211 and the other one 9202, but pretty much the same damn thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just that one's a close-up of the upper half of the
On the
picture.
drop, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they look like a bell tower.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Caroline.
it is.
It
Yeah,
is a
they
bell
are.
tower. It's a Caroline. So
Too bad we can't go back to that other reflection and see if we can see any bells in it.
yeah. And Czechoslovakia.
This was also very popular, as the Czech Pavilion was in Montreal.
Yeah, they seem to have been very popular at a number of fairs. They certainly in Montreal they were really big. And we're getting near the end here. If you don't know what this is, I'm not going to tell you. And that's as far as I got to at 12:35 last night, scanning those.
Yeah, you guys, I was talking about the gates all being different. Off to the right upper hand corner, that's another gate. Those spikes, and once again, they're all kind of suspended from cables.
Yes, the roof, right?
Well, actually, those spike things are all held up by cables. I don't know if what it's holding up below.
Yeah, they almost look like a construction crane I see for a high-rise building.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely one of the gates.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm saying it looks kind of similar.
Right.
And the cables came from that top point off to the,
They kind of held each other up. They were all kind of stretched taut.
okay.
Yeah,
Like they did with say Australia, Osaka. I think that was held up with a giant cable from above. Or was that the
oh,
USA?
right. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got another stack of these things to do, and it's God, there's just so many. Oh wow, Pavilion of the United Nations. Well, stuff for another show. I also had let's see, let me go to New York, the 64 fair. I had gotten a box of slides from 64, and they're really nice views. Unfortunately, as I got into them, I found out they had really been attacked by mold and stuff. So they won't. I don't know how much they'll show on these views. But the guy had a really nice camera because they came in sharp. If I zoom in on some of it, this one may not see it. No, you can. Well, here. If you look, and you start seeing lines and cross hatching. So, it's one of those things where you can, if there's a line that's quite noticeable that goes across something, I'll take it out. If it's just up in the sky, I'm just going to leave it there because there's only so many hours in the day. But these
What is causing those lines?
mold,
Okay.
yeah, mold getting into the slide. Again, I have a chemical that you can't buy much anymore that I can try to treat to keep it from getting worse. But
So has it actually worked its way into the emulsion?
yeah. Yeah, so it's probably stored in either a hot or humid environment. And sometimes it gets really bad. I mean, every now and then there's something you just terrible. But that's a shame. So you look at it and go, "Oh, this is really nice." Look at all the people waiting for GE. Again, this is early in '64. They have not expanded out into the area next to it. Then I always love shots of this Gotham Plaza because you're coming into the fairgrounds and you're coming down the ramp from the ticket area. RCA is going to be right behind us, but where are you going to go? I posted this online and said, where do you go? And everybody said, RCA, it's right in front of you. But if you've already seen RCA, do you run? This sort of thing I would always try to do when I got there is go right past all the pavilions at the front and go as far to the middle of the fair where there were less people. So that when they all worked their way back into the middle, I was working my way back out. And then you can try to pick up some stuff on this. I can't quite tell what they're advertising in this sign here. Can't quite tell. It's just not enough of an angle. But we got our Skyway. And again, if you go over here, never anybody in this level.
Looks like there might be one person.
No, it's a vending machine complex over here. Yeah, it's bizarre. But a nice view here of the Better Living Center in the background and GE over here to the side. Here we get a good view of the VIP level. No VIPs out on the walkway looking down at us peons. Again, nice and clean, right?
Yep.
These are, by the way, not restored yet. The one I did of Gotham Plaza, but these were Kodachrome and they held up the colors really well. So I have not done a color grading or anything on this particular one.
What is that? What was that building? Lifesavers?
Better Living Center.
Oh, okay, yeah. So pretty much a yawn.
Yeah. So up here is the Hilton Hotel exhibit and restaurant. So you could go up here. There was a staircase and a walkway. I mean, what a change from 39 where you had the parachute jump. So for here, they just put up this and it did rotate around and they had a lifesaver here. But these people were all up on the, what you call it, the Hilton Garden restaurant that was up here. Here you can see like a bit of dust and everything, real easy to take out. The building was so large and just such a giant thing that over time they hung bright red ribbons down it trying to make it look more appealing because they'd flutter in the wind and that. But it turned out to be one of the disappointments of the fair. There's your undulating roof.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Exactly.
Yeah. So again, there's I think it shows up in this one. Let's see. No, I can't see the column of Jerash in this one, which is still there. But you can get some nice details out of some of these.
Is the column still in the same location?
It is, unfortunately, you know, people have damaged it quite a bit. The weather is not good. Look at all the people here. I don't know if they're lined up for GE at this point. I think they might be waiting for GE. There's Tower Light in the background, but that's a
Yeah,
lot.
you're looking at the back of Tower Light there, so.
Yeah. And let's see, what do we have? Picture, oh, okay, so a native gallery here and a whole bunch of people. Again, try to date these things.
There's a helicopter on top of the pavilion there.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
coming in, going out.
New
And you
York
see
Airways.
little scratches. Those are sort of easy things to take out. Busy day in the Skyway. They got both sides working and a lot of cabins out. Oh, the helicopters coming in or going out. These were not numbered, so they were just all jumbled in a box. So whatever the shooting order was, I did not quite identify it.
But all from the same photographer.
Yeah, right. Again, you can see, you know, people put their own patterns or walkways wherever they want to go. They don't go quite where the planners plan sometimes. This was one I did clean up. This is the Hall of Education and the Traveler Insurance. The Hall of Education was another disappointment because, you know, who wants to go there and see the latest on encyclopedias? They had displays on new desks and seating systems for schools, things like that. It did not return for this 65 season. It became the demonstration center, which proves that you can go from bad to worse because there's nothing in there of any value. You know, you could go in there and they would show you, oh, this cleans your stainless steel knives and you know like
Oh,
all
so-
the infomercials you see on TV. That was
It
that
would be
building.
like kind of like one of those halls at a county fair.
Yes,
It's got
That's,
Yeah.
that's a great location.
yeah, yeah.
Pity they got
Yeah,
wasted. That's a great spot.
absolute great location, and it had all sorts of things. They had a New York Daily News exhibit in it, which was the only one that I found interesting, where they did public opinion polls, and you would go in and you use a handheld device to click 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then it would tabulate it. And then the next day, the Daily News would print in. Yesterday at the World's Fair, we asked everybody, "What's your favorite ice cream?" And they would put it in there. But they would do things like, should the Yankees, retire so and such, and everybody would vote, and the next day they would have it in there. So that was an example of how they were saying voting systems could be done in the future.
I'm assuming that must have been a pretty expensive plot of land because they charge rent. That
Yeah.
was one of the violations of the BIE. But I would think that something with that prominent of a location would have had a higher per square foot rental.
Yeah, originally this was supposed to be a 3-story building, and I think they had huge hopes for it. Again, education, I just don't know how much, how many vendors or things you would think to go in there, and how many, because you think about school textbooks. The average person doesn't buy a school textbook. A school administrator buys them all for that particular school. It just didn't seem to me like it would be a huge thing. Oh, one other thing that's really interesting, just off to the side here,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
those are the VIP stands for Equitable Insurance. So when you were a Equitable customer or VIP, you could get seating in here, and they provided VIP access to other pavilions as a courtesy. So this was all VIP seating for the fireworks show.
I've
Bill?
never seen those before.
Yeah.
If
and-
you, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Bill, if you hit the roof and go really close, you can see the Jane Parker
Jane
sign.
Parker, I was noticing that.
Yeah.
Hit the what?
If you
Oh,
go
Jane
close to
Parker,
the top
yeah,
of
the
the roof,
back,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah. Over here too, it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
show here, there's a very small building, which was the fireworks control center. So where they actually did all the firework launching from, and then played the soundtracks, everything. It's just between here, these buildings, these bleachers here. But nice view of I wish the fountains were still there. We have a long wait here. Oh, here's an example of just sometimes you just say, that's really too bad. The center here has gotten really deteriorated from mold. So I'm not going to be able to bring all these people back. You can just see this whole area here has gotten taken over by it. The Protestant Orthodox Pavilion. Miss Hairspray 64.
All my junior high school teachers had hairdos like that.
Yeah. We lived next door to a Italian family, the Sharamontes, and their mother, I think she used hairspray. I mean, we shared a duplex, so we had a common wall between us. At times, you could tell Mrs. Sharamonte was up in the morning and getting ready, because you could actually smell the hairspray, at our side.
Yeah, I belong to a couple of mid-century modern groups on Facebook, and someone will post a picture, like a family Christmas picture, and half the people in the picture have a cigarette in hand, and the women all have these big bouffants, and someone will inevitably say, "I can smell Aquanet and cigarettes."
Yes. Yep. But the Sharamontes were really nice people. They had 2 daughters around my age, and we had a lot of fun doing stuff together. But her mother, all the furniture in their house had plastic slip covers on it, and yeah. And if you went over there in summer and you knew if you wore shorts, you would stick to the couch. I mean, the things that are coming back to me. The other thing was they had a white Christmas tree with a colored wheel lamp on it. So it would go around and change. The tree would go from red to green to yellow or something, or I think it was the 3 primaries. But it was like, we had a real Christmas tree that was wood and tree. I mean, I love the ceremonies. They were real. Oh, they had a Cadillac. We had so much fun that the tail light would flip up, and that's where the gas tank was. Because when they called, they were like, "Does anybody find the gas tank?" And yeah, they were great people. But the hairspray.
Bill, could you tell what they were having for dinner each night?
Italian food.
Yeah, a lot of garlic.
No, it's funny. I don't remember that so much. I just remember the hairspray. It's crazy. Then we got Venezuela here. The coin-operated lockers down below. Couple kids going for the rides in their strollers.
What cars are those?
Yeah.
Corvettes. And Johnson Wax.
We haven't seen a single nun today.
No, as I'm saying, I don't think I've seen a single nun in all these.
Because a lot of the pictures I have from Brussels, I mean, there are troops of nuns.
Maybe they're just wearing their street clothes today.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they did that.
not this year, no.
There's none at all.
Okay, now I should remember. What pavilion are we looking at here?
All right, we're gonna
Hopefully-
vote Brock off the island.
Well, go back one just a second. I just can't remember what I should know. What is that pavilion?
Indonesia.
Thank you.
Yeah, all this stonework and everything was all done in Indonesia, and then they took the building apart, brought it over here, and put it back together again. They had to get a special visa to bring the Indonesian people in to do it. The U.S. unions, of course, had to provide a supervisor. 65 season, Indonesia was in a major trade war with the United States. They did not participate. They emptied out their pavilion, which is a real shame. They had some beautiful displays inside, but they honored their commitment and made a big point of when the fair ended, they paid the money to take the pavilion down. It was shipped back to Indonesia. It was supposed to be rebuilt over there. I never heard that it was.
Oh,
You can see the drought was really a big thing. That's why, so much of the fair has bare grounds. Very edge of IBM over here. Here's Equitable. Those bleachers would be off to the right. If we look over here, the emergency exit stairs that they would take people out when they got their attacks of claustrophobia, which became amazingly common.
huh.
You can try to date this some bit by, this was not right after the fair opened, because as you notice, some of the IBMs look a little different than the other IBMs. These are the ones that took out the solid IBM and they put up the light up ones. So this is about, this has got to be at least 3 months into the fair, because this was done about 8-9 weeks in. Here's the other emergency exit this side, and here's the pole where the MC came down out of. And we have a few more. So we got the glider ride going by. Nicer shot of the bleachers here. So you never knew they were there, and there they are, right? Hiding in plain sight all this time.
I noticed some of the guys had shorts on in this photo. If you
They had what?
walking shorts on.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
guess it was probably hot, but it didn't stop this guy from wearing a jacket and tie.
right. Yeah, I think they were off to the other side. Yeah,
Very casual
but
there.
they're still pretty dressy though by today's standards.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're carrying handbags.
And they're not down around their butts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the one on the right has a Polaroid camera,
yeah,
and the other guy has maybe a German 35 millimeter.
yeah. Yeah, this looks like the Polaroid. I'm sitting here and I have it in the shelf behind me, my grandfather's.
I've got one in my living room. Yeah.
Oh, so much in one giant shot here. We're up at GE on the upper level, obviously the sign down here. The sculpture over in front of the Tower of Light, which after the fair was sold as scrap, and the artist was real excited because he got a letter from the guy that bought it, thinking he wanted his help putting it back together. And he said, "No, I'm going to recycle the metal. Do you happen to have the original bill so I could prove what it was made out of?" So what a shame. You know, you can imagine thinking, "Oh, my artwork is appreciated." Nope, I'm going to go melt it down.
That would be happening today with the cost of
Yep.
silver and copper and all that.
Then every time I think I had a bad office someplace, it could be worse. who had this?
And
Yeah, these.
what
well,
is it? I mean,
I
what
have no idea what, you know, if there, it looks like there's a box or something, or I can't quite tell.
Trash bin, think.
You know what, there's trash here, but I don't know if this is a dumpster or what.
Yeah.
But,
I wonder, yeah, maybe they were just disguising a dumpster so it didn't, yeah.
I've not seen any others like this and that I can recall around. And then all these little kiosks with, again, they sold guidebooks or things like that. And how we
Is
do
that concrete water fountain still there? See
Yep,
the concrete water fountain?
they
That's still
still
there.
are. Yep. Only a 30-minute wait. I'm all game for it. Let's go.
Yeah, that's short.
That's nothing.
Protestant Orthodox, you can just make out the big stained glass window behind it, which is in my town. Oh, here's a sign. Let's see what they're telling us here. Protestant Orthodox Center, 400-seat theater. Oh, we can see the same sign over here, probably. Okay,
No.
let's go. I'm sold. And I was showing this sort of stuff at the dinner talk that I gave last week, and somebody said, "You mean they really tore all that down after 2 years?" And I said, "Yep." For people that had not been there, that's, you know, or understand the history, it was very hard for them to grasp.
It wasn't even 2 years, actually. It was 18 months.
What's that?
It was actually only 18 months.
Well, yeah, I
April
mean,
64 to October 65.
2 6-month seasons, so 1 year of use, but you know, whatever period of time, it wasn't there very long. Hang on here. Oh, it's a street sign here. Port of the
Let's
Universe.
say baked foods. That's that sign again in the background there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, A&P, Jane Parker, Baked Foods. The thing that drove Robert Moses absolutely crazy, bonkers.
Yeah.
Bill, we probably have talked about it before. Did Jane Parker put that sign up specifically for the fair?
Oh, no, they had it up on their factory for years, and that was why they won the battle in large part. Moses asked them to not light it up at night, and they said, "The hell with it, it's great free advertising."
Yeah.
So he went and sued them. I mean, Moses could not take anything lightly. He went and sued them, and the judge came back and said that they had every right to light up their sign, and the World's Fair Corporation had to pay all their legal bills. So he lost on both sides on that particular one. So that is it for there. Let me see if I find one other thing here. Let me just look on the computer here 1 second. I just upgraded my computer to Windows 11 this past week, and I was scared. I had, you know, so many weird things that you wonder if they're going to work or not work or whatever, that I did it when I finally had to, and luckily everything seems to work.
Bill, did you say earlier you did it specifically for TurboTax or for
Yes.
other? Okay. TurboTax had some weird things that had changed, like when you were finishing up and signing your documents, it forced you to do everything right away. In the past, I know they wanted their fee right away, but I could go back later and sign the documents, and I had to do it right then and there.
Really,
Huh.
I have not loaded it in here yet, so.
Yeah, there were some differences. Got to be kind of frustrating because I was going to do the electronic payment. I think I could still go back and change it, but right away they wanted all my routing numbers and all that. And I said, I don't want to pay it right now. I just,
Yeah,
Usually you just pay it as you're going to file it.
yeah, no, and they did file, but I haven't paid anything yet.
no, now one more thing I'll have to worry about. So let me share a screen real quick. You guys saw the rough version of this, but again, just continue to play around with stuff. We're gonna go back to Disneyland in 1973, so. Okay, share. So again, when I'm having fun with the new lens and the scanner, being able to take
So you're breaking up.
What?
You were breaking up when.
Are you seeing the picture okay?
Yeah, we're seeing the picture. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the background sound that's causing the problem.
We
Yeah.
couldn't hear you speaking.
Oh,
We could only
okay.
hear the background sound. I mean, your voice was broken up.
No problem. I
Got a
can
guy
turn,
riding on the engine there.
the
So,
music
no, I
down
guess
here.
just took a light.
I got a kick out of this one because it's a very windy day. You can see the trees going.
Everybody's wearing coats too, or
Yep.
quite a few people are.
And now, what a job this guy has. Daddy, I want the red one. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be chilly. The kids are all dressed up.
I'd rather go on a day like that than a hot day.
No. 1973 for this.
Didn't give a month, did it?
No.
So it could be spring or fall, I would guess.
Yeah. No, on the edge of a lot of the Kodak film, there's a date code, and it tells you the date of manufacturer. But on this particular one, the can of film was written on at Disneyland 1973, and it matched the 73 date code.
See that tobacco store there? Do they allow smoking in the park?
Oh yeah, back then they did, up until
Oh,
about
yeah.
years ago. Now I think there's like one or two smoking areas, one by the Haunted Mansion. There might be the other one where the motorboat cruise used to be.
I
Or
think they've moved them all out of the park now.
did they? Okay,
Yeah, I know Florida did. I think California did as well.
they probably did.
Yeah, I was surprised when I went to Expo 2020 in Dubai. No smoking on the grounds whatsoever. There was a small smoking area between the metro stop and the entrance, but it was actually outside the grounds.
Wow. Years ago, I worked at a facility called Pomfland, the Polaris Missile Facility Atlantic. And it's where we would put the warheads into the missiles before we took them out to the submarines. And they had all sorts of conventional explosives there too, the proverbial dam buster bombs and the what they call MOMB, mother of all bombs. But it was a very strictly non-smoking facility. And when you got there, it was like going into a high-tech thing in a science fiction movie. Oh, I love the Fantasyland Theater. This was so dark. I was really glad I was able to pull this out. But when you got there, you had to give your badge at a gate. They would open the gate. You'd go into an inner gated area. They'd close the first gate. They'd open up they'd look at your badge at the second gate, let you out. So there was no way just to go in or out because both gates couldn't be open at the same time. And in between that section area, they had all sorts of guard dogs running around. It was a really weird place to work. But right outside the main gate, they had a whole set of lockers, and the lockers are about 8 by 10, or maybe even smaller, the doors to them. And when everybody went for a smoke break, they would have to come outside because they had big signs about no flammable materials. And these people would come out, even in the pouring rain, they'd get to the first gate, open it, go to the no man's land, go in between, come out the second gate, take out their cigarettes and matches, and smoke 3 or 4 cigarettes nonstop, puff, 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 to go back to work. And I'm thinking, man, what hobby I would be kicking right now. It always struck me how addicted some of these people were, that, I mean, the rain would be pouring down and they'd be standing out there. They just had to have the cigarette.
Had to have the nicotine.
Yeah. I guess that was before they invented the patch.
Having
Yeah.
worked as a flight attendant while smoking was still allowed, it was amazing.
Oh, God.
I used to love when the mechanics would come on, we'd write up a pressure leak, especially like on the older airplanes, like the 707 and the 720B. And it was always at one of the doors, and they would come on. I remember one time I was watching and I said, how do you find it? I just traced the nicotine. It was disgusting. How you could see it was just like brown syrupy stuff. That was where it was being sucked out.
Yeah. Well, I remember sitting on a Lufthansa flight where the left side was smoking and the right side was non-smoking. I said, this makes no freaking sense to me whatsoever.
Well, in theory, based on, I don't know about current aircraft, but older aircraft back in the 70s, that made the most sense as far as air circulation. But the fact that, I'm sitting there watching people on the other side smoking, kind of mentally, it's
yeah, if I'm sitting in, if somebody's smoking in say 6C and I'm sitting, of course, at island 6D,
yeah,
I'm getting the smoke. I don't care what you say.
right.
Then they decided that they changed it. They put the smoking in the front of the plane and non-smoking in the back. And I kept saying, the law of physics, the particles are going to come, back here. I'm so glad when they got rid of smoking in airplanes.
You were glad.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I feel for you. Now the day is warming up. We're able to take our hood off.
Bill, I wonder if a lot of people use the vaping devices today more than cigarettes I've seen. I wonder if they're able to get away with it.
No, not on the
No,
plane.
they won't you vape on planes at all.
Okay.
Yeah, now there's in fact, it was a Delta flight there. Flight attendants confronting this woman who was vaping in flight, and
Wow.
she got busted. She got arrested on landing because she kept going back into the restroom and trying it there. She tried it at her seat first, then she went back into the restroom and tried it there.
We're gonna go off into nature's wonderland. Last night on I had just music playing on a random, and they came up with the narration for this ride on there, and it was things you don't think about. It was like, oh, we're gonna go and see the backside of water here, and hope you're leaning inside. And he talks about the waterfalls, and then the twin sister falls. They call them that because they're always babbling. And then the next, I was surprised. Goes, and this one here is Big Thunder waterfall because it thunders down. And I go, well, I guess that's where they got the name for Big Thunder Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think that was the thinking, was to pay tribute to the old ride that had been there. They used the Big Thunder waterfall for the name.
And as a kid, going behind the waterfall to me was one of the most exciting things at the park. I thought that was the neatest thing.
Well, it's the only chance you ever have to see the backside of water.
Yeah, so.
Hey, Brock, I don't know if you're looking at the comments here, but after you made a mention you haven't seen none, Darren, don't make that a habit, Brock.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you very much.
That's a hard, fast rule, Brock. It's written down in black and white. It's terrible. I have a friend, Mark Shigaris, who's the worst punster I've ever met in my life. And you could come up with anything in the world, and Mark can make a pun about it. I mean, he's just the fastest guy on this sort of stuff, and he's very, very good at it. But I mean, I think if you had a compound fracture and you went up to him and broke his arm, he'd have, oh, that's disarming. He's always he's right there with it. So anyway, hope folks enjoyed seeing inside the Atomium, and now I have this big desire to go there. I have the big desire to go to Epic Adventure. I'm tired of crowds these days. So
Oh, you don't want to go to Epic then.
And now,
Crowds
I guess
everywhere.
now would be a good time to do domestic stuff because international travel's a little on the iffy side.
yeah. Brett asked a question: was the Protestant Orthodox Pavilion a joint effort by the Protestants and the Orthodox churches? I don't know where it came up with that name because there was a Russian Orthodox church right next to the Bell System Pavilion, but I've always wondered. It's a good one of those things you think about and you never get around to it. I don't know why they came up with that particular name, to be honest with you.
About the Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, but I mean, why was the Protestant Orthodox Pavilion?
Yeah. Isn't the Greek Orthodox Church more aligned with the Catholic Church or no?
Yeah, I
Well,
think it is.
Yeah. Again, that's the small one. That's the replica of the one that's up in Northern California.
But I believe there are a couple of smaller Protestant religions that have the word Orthodox in their name. So that may have been a, thing they had to agree to. We're the Orthodox Methodists or whatever it might have been, and so they wanted to have the Orthodox part in there too.
Like maybe more conservative sects.
Usually.
Yeah, just like in Judaism, they're more conservative.
Yeah.
So I hope that folks enjoyed a trip back to Brussels. Now I want a Belgian waffle, which I didn't see any of those at the, well, I guess in just like the old joke, in Belgium, all the waffles are Belgian waffles, but
That's right.
yeah. I'm going to be giving a talk this week on Thursday on Expo 86. It's going to be a two-part talk, and I'm working on that. I thought I had all my pictures ready, and then I said, "Oh, look at that! Here's another 500 I forgot I had." So I'm rapidly sorting those out. But
where are you getting that?
That's for the New York Adventure Club. That's online,
right?
And I think Expo 86 was just a really spectacularly successful World's Fair in terms of what they did with the site. Again, another disused part of the city that now has become a chic part to live. And I think if we go up to Seattle again, we're going to try to drive across the border and go. It's been a couple of years since we've been to Vancouver, so. But yeah, if you're interested in Expo 86, that's at 8 Eastern, and I will be posting it on my website, the link to it, with the Adventure Club of New York. And I've just got to put all that together. And then, so that will keep me busy this week, and we'll see what we end up with for next week. I still have more and more stuff coming in the door all the time, so it never ends. But a small O Orthodox just means you're claiming to be the true, accurate faith. Okay.
Well, in general, that would be the more conservative.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm going to drive over to Belgium and see if I need a license. I got a kick out of the ambulance. They sure are busy. Well, hope folks have a great weekend. That I understand there's cold, nasty weather coming back to the east. So, Jim, I hope you and Ken and the others, Don, I think it's supposed to come a little bit south of you, Don. I don't think.
Yeah, we're not going to get the worst of it.
Yeah. One of the things I got a kick this past week was all the ice dams that are breaking on the Hudson and other rivers. There's a fellow does on Facebook, Adirondack drones, and they had such cold weather. They had massive amounts of ice on all the rivers, and then all of a sudden, when that heat wave came through, all sorts of the ice just started breaking up much faster than usual. And there were some towns up near Warrensburg, which is about an hour north of Albany, where the ice jams all of a sudden clogged up the river, but the water behind it was still coming down. So it started flooding into the town, and you can look down the state It's a state route 28, and there's 6 feet of ice and snow that the river is now pushed out onto the river road. So now parts of the towns are cut off.
Yeah, we had a lot of ice jam activity, a lot of clogs. St. Johnsbury was where I was yesterday, and a few places around here. We've seen a lot of flooding in towns due to ice jams in the last week.
You know, people can, if you've never been near one of these ice things when it breaks up. When I was living in Albany, we had gone to an Italian restaurant one night, and my girlfriend and her family and I, and we were sitting there, and somebody came in. If anybody's parked on the other side of the river, you need to leave right now because they're getting ready to close the bridge. And we had parked on the other side, so it's like, okay, let's go. And all the ice had freed up from up above the river and had come crashing down and was now piled up against this bridge where we had to go across. And actually, we ran to the car. You could feel the bridge shaking as more and more ice hit it, and they were afraid it was going to lift the bridge up and wash it away. Luckily, it did not. But the noise just really struck me. I mean, just the sound of all these. I mean, these are giant pieces of ice, 6 feet across and everything, smacking into each other, grating, rasping, and everything. So, for the folks that are near them, I can really empathize with it.
Have you ever been around a frozen lake when the ice in it cracks, as when, suddenly, I mean, it's like a thunderbolt going off sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, but it's
Yeah.
a different kind of sound. It has this echo effect to it or something.
Because I
don't
think
know.
it goes down into the water. And 'cause we heard that sound one
Yeah.
time when I was out ice skating. We got off the lake real fast.
Yeah, I bet.
We've had a record winter here and record warmth. We have not had a single freezing night this year.
Yeah. And basically the same in Southern California. We've had some
Yeah.
cool nights, but and I guess this warm weather is supposed to continue throughout this week. Like
Yeah.
down here where I'm in Long Beach today, it's quite a bit cooler, and it was yesterday too. I mean, still mid-70s, but whenever it was Thursday, maybe Wednesday, it was downright hot.
And
Oh, we're-
it's just as hot at the beach as it is inland, which is unusual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not for Long Beach. Long Beach is the warmer of the beach cities.
Well, I've been watching the news, and Santa Monica is just as hot as the
Oh,
valley.
that is unusual, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Santa Monica is usually like 15 degrees cooler.
Yes, right.
Speaking of Santa Monica, Bill,
What's that?
you know nothing about Santa Monica. I went her to lunch the other day. I got a damn ticket on my car for no front license plate. Not for anything else. I for the past like 30 years, I have not been putting front license plates on my car because they got these nice grills and all that. I don't want to hang this license plate. And I figure I know I can get caught at one time or another. But usually it's been because I've been pulled over for something. I mean, whatever. Like my tail light was out. So they're going to give me a fix-it ticket, but while they're at it, they walk around the car and they notice no license plate. Have you ever heard of them ticketing only for no front license plate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we keep joking we could balance the city budget in LA. Particularly, we'll be out doing radar or something, and oh God, a Tesla with a front plate. Hey, next time, give me some heads up. But yeah, you can give a ticket for it. LAPD generally does not. If you're a real butthead, you might get one for something. But
That's what I figured.
yeah.
If you took off the back plate, you wouldn't have got a ticket at all.
No, then they go by
think
the
so.
VIN. They go by the VIN number.
Yeah.
So here,
Hey, Bill?
I found something here that I'll just share with you. Let me just share a screen. Okay, media player. Share.
Well,
Oh, there you go.
how old is that picture?
Aw.
That's from last
cute.
week.
Yeah, last weekend.
That's just last week?
Yeah.
Why didn't you shake his hand?
Then they said don't touch.
Ah,
But across from him was a Grogu with his head cut open, and then another one was missing arms. I mean, it was really kind of neat to see how many of those they have that are able to to do the different things. So, but
And now they're coming out with the movie. Mhm.
yeah, now I got to go see the new movie. So, but
Bill, I got
You
something
don't
to
dress up
show
like
you.
that for our meetings. For our meetings, you don't dress up like that.
Bill,
what's that?
I said that for
uh,
our meetings here, you never dress up like that.
Yeah. Well, if you pay me, I'll dress up for you. What were we saying?
so Bill, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the glass from the World Trade Center. And I finally got these pieces back and I wanted to show you. So these are the two pieces I have. This is what's left. I've given away all the others. So if you look, this is the glass that was used on the lower windows from about the third floor up to where you see the transition
Mhm.
in the tower. Now, it's about a 1/4 inch. This is the glass. Let me see if I can line it up.
Yeah.
That's
For the
thick.
upper windows. And as you can see, it's thicker. Now, when the tower got hit in the 83 attack, I forget which meteorologist it was on Channel 7, was telling people at first, smash the windows to get air. And 30 seconds later, they grabbed him. You actually saw them grab him on camera and tell him, don't say that. It's going to rain down on all the people.
Yeah.
And he came back and said, forget what I just said. I wish I still had the clip. Someone I know may still have it.
Why was the glass thicker higher up?
The glass was thicker higher up because of the wind tolerance.
Yeah, the
Wind.
And also, they said was also one other reason, but I forget. I remember wind tolerance, but I forget the other reason. But the heaviness of the thicker glass is unbelievable. And these were giant sheets that were put in. They weren't small little 5x8 sheets. They were something on the order of about 10 feet wide by about 20 feet high.
Gee. Were they
Oh,
safety
but-
glass? Was it safety
No,
glass?
no, it is
Oh,
not
she had
safety
shards coming
glass.
down.
That's
So
why.
Small shards. Yeah.
I think
Now-
it was the Prudential building in Boston. They had the huge problems with the glass coming out.
Yes.
They were popping out
yes.
of the frames.
Yeah, it would just pop out and the entire 8-foot tall sheet of glass would come dropping to the ground. Because I was working in Massachusetts, in Boston, and they had all the sidewalks around there had wooden canopies on it, and they were desperately trying to find a way to keep the glass from blowing out of the building. They finally, the cure for it was they had to put a small hole through each of the windows, so that what was happening was the wind was going around, it was causing the pressure differential to be different inside the building than outside. By putting a small hole through, the air was able to get through and equalize it. So, and then they had I remember reading they had to experiment on how big the holes could be, because at one point they came through and it was making a noise, it was like driving people crazy with this high pitched whine. And, again, why I'm an electrical engineer and not a civil engineer.
Yeah, talking about newscasters having to retract things like that. I don't know, Bill, if you remember, it might have been the Northridge earthquake, but it was one of the bigger earthquakes we had. I think it was on Channel 4, the news, whoever it was a woman, comes out, go out right away and turn off your gas. And like 5 minutes later, oh, no, don't do that, because everybody in town was going to have no gas. Only if you smell the gas, go turn it off.
Yeah.
She had people go get your wrench, go turn the gas off.
Yep. And the gas company was saying, now we have to send somebody to every single house to turn it back on.
Well, yeah, and then she in correcting herself, so yeah, if you all do that, it'll be weeks till everybody gets their gas restored.
Well, when we had the 94 quake, I tried to be prepared for it. Now we have a thing that if there's a hard enough earthquake, it automatically turns off the gas. It has basically a ball that rolls onto the thing and turns it off. But I had taken a wrench that fits the gas meter and I put it on a lanyard attached to the gas pipe. So when the thing hit, I was able to go off and turn off the gas. But my next door neighbor, whose name was also Bill, I went over and I had a regular wrench. I went and turned off his gas. And he came out of the house and he was like, give me the goddamn wrench. I got to turn off the gas. And I said, I've turned off the gas for you already. Give me the wrench. I said, I've already turned it off. Why won't you give me the wrench? And I gave him the wrench and he turned the gas. He goes, okay, now it's off. No, when he left, I turned it back off because he just turned it back on. But he was programmed in an earthquake. He was going to turn that gas off. And I'm trying to tell him, I've turned it off. Give me the wrench. So hopefully we don't have to go through any earthquake stuff in the near future. So
Remember
been a
the
while.
fire on Balboa?
oh yeah, we live right at the top end of the city of Los Angeles, and we could hear the 5 and 14 interchange fall down. I mean, it was this tremendous groaning, crashing noise, and then there was this huge explosion just a mile south of us, about a mile and a half, and it was the major down Balboa Boulevard. There's two giant lines. The major water line for the city of LA, and next to it, the major gas line for the city of LA. And they run down there, and the gas line ruptured. And there was a guy that came out of his house, and everybody's telling him, he gets in his car and he puts his dog in he had a pickup truck, put the dog in the back of the pickup, and he's going to leave. And everybody tells him, don't start the truck, don't start the truck. He starts the truck. The explosion took out an 80-foot crater across the road. It took out about 8 houses. It now broke the water line, which was right next to it. So this is no joke. People had canoes and they were out on the street canoeing because the water was coming out of it so heavy. It was like whitewater rafting. The guy's truck, was totally blown to pieces. They found like engine block here. They found him 2 miles north of here, up on what's called the old road, with his clothes totally burned off, and they have no idea. I mean, like a cartoon would blow the guy up there, but if he came down in an arc like that, he'd be dead. But he probably just stumbled up there in total shock. They never did find the dog, but that's when the president came out here and they gave a big thing. They went there. That road was closed for about 6 months, which made it's a major commuting road, so it made our neighborhoods just absolutely wonderful. But yeah, when you drive down the street, you can see, 1970s house, 70s house, 70s house, 90 house, 90 house, 90 house, 70s house, 70 house, because it just blew the crap out of everything on the street. But I remember saying to Carol when that went off, and then over in the next town, Sylmar, there's a giant trailer park, and all the trailers were exploding as their gas tanks went up. I remember looking at her and said, I think we're going to be up here by ourselves for a while.
Bill, was that freeway intersection where that motorcycle cop was killed?
Yeah, that's right. Dean, his last name was Dean. I see his sign all the time. Yeah, he jumped in his uniform, jumped on a motorcycle, went to work, and just went airborne and came down on it. There's also, if you see the movie or pictures where there's a piece of highway, a missing piece, a section of highway with a semi and an RV on it, a missing highway. Those guys were trapped up there for the longest period of time. They could finally get them down. That's all a mile and a half from here. So
Bill, oh, go ahead.
So when the thing hit, our bed we had a platform bed bouncing up and down. It was insane. But the school down the street from us was we're a block and a half from a school. That was the only school that had to be torn down. It's like if you took a giant knife and just went through the land and it went into the school, broke the school in half and came out the other side. Went into the house of Carol.
Is it no? Oh, it's almost
There. Went went through a house and came out the other side. It was a real mess. But it had a thing of the road broke, and there were all these scientists coming by putting fiber optic cameras down, and they said, yeah, it goes down 14 feet, that the ground had split into a chasm, and this was fascinating to them, and to me it was scary as hell. But like I said, we had a whole bunch of scientists out there measuring the neighborhood.
Bill, were you living here when the Baldwin Hills Dam
No,
broke?
No.
Randy, were you around then?
No, no,
Okay, that was back in, I believe it was the sixties.
right.
It might have been the early seventies, but I think it was the sixties. My dad worked for the gas company at the time, and the night that that dam went, he and 6 other guys from the gas company had to go out in pairs and go up the street that the dam, all the water came down with. They had these big redwood plugs that look like an ice cream cone, but they're solid, they're not hollow. And they would go along until they had a thing for finding gas lines, because things were just sheared off. There was no way you could just turn off the gas. And they would use those to plug the gas lines to stop the gas from flowing, so you wouldn't have the possibility of explosions or fires. And I remember him talking about how they were walking along this one street and on a sidewalk, and all these houses were gone, but there was stuff still there. The water had receded for the most part, and this guy he was with decided he wanted to cross the street to get over and check the houses on the other side. He stepped off the curb and disappeared into the water, came back. It made this big trench that was still full of water, and he didn't realize it. So my dad had to pull him out. He wasn't in danger of being washed away, but it was very interesting that he was telling me about it, because he was out till about 11 o'clock at night working. They called him back. Actually, he never got home that night for dinner, because they were just about at quitting time when it occurred. And so they sent them all out, and his base that he worked out of was closest to it. But that was something else.
It's amazing that they had the foresight to make all those plugs and have them ready.
Yeah, well, they had them for the other incident, where sometimes an explosion might happen in a house or whatever, but you didn't have the valve to shut the gas off, so they kept it. We actually had 2 or 3 of them in our home. My dad just kept there in case we needed them for any reason. So earthquakes would quite often sever them.
Where I
That
lived in
assumes you can
Long
find,
Island.
that assumes you can find where the pipe is broken, where the end of the pipe is.
Yeah, they could. They were able to determine that, because it did be bubbling coming out of the, most of the stuff, it just kind of like leveled the homes and stripped stuff away, but they were able to find stuff and do that. But it took a long time.
It could have been buried under a lot of debris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I lived on Long Island, somebody was doing excavation work and right in front of the elementary school, and hit the gas line, and of course it sparked and off it went. And it went on for quite a while, and they had to finally get a guy from another town to come with one of these Mylar suits with the glass thing and everything, that get close enough to turn it off. But I had run and taken a picture of it, and it was the first picture I ever took that I made a profit on. I sold it to Newsday, our local paper, and they were supposed to return the picture to me, but never did. But I had the great picture of the guys, they're spraying the thing with the fire hose, and the guys walking up the Mylar suit, and I got the gas was about 30 feet tall, the jet of it coming out. And it was hotter than hell. I was a block and a half away, and man, I felt bad for that guy in that suit. So I don't know where they got it from, but that's not something the average volunteer fire department stocks.
Bill, were you in New York when they had the explosion in Borough Park from the hardware store that was storing 20-pound LPG tanks?
No, not that I recall.
Short story. There was an explosion, and upon extinguishing the fire, and they were investigating, they found over 250 of the 20-pound cans, that's what we call them, stored in the basement of this guy's hardware store in Borough Park, it broke so many laws.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But they were popping for about an hour while they were trying to cool them off. Now, the hazmat crew, Rescue 4, which is the hazmat for New York City, they have those suits. And you are right. The guys literally will sweat 10 pounds off after a half an hour.
Yeah. No, they were
Uh,
hosing him down to try to keep him cool as he got up
Yep.
there. That's you could just see the steam. I remember steam coming off the suit, you know.
The guys that I worked with who were in our hazmat squad, because we would do the decontamination, we would do vital checks before they suited up. When they came in, we always had 5 gallons of Gatorade, and to watch these guys and the girls drink this stuff, and it doesn't taste that great,
No.
but oh Lord, how much weight and how much sweating. I remember a few guys who worked for me directly. They did it, they enjoyed it, but they said it's a great way to lose weight fast.
Yeah, unfortunately, it comes back again.
Yeah.
When Carol Brock might appreciate this, you ever do a character at the Disney parks, the same sort of
Yeah.
thing. You literally, like, we were there doing a lot of Christmas time, so it's cold out and everything. You take the head off and the steam is just billowing out, and you have to actually wear a headband around your head, because otherwise the sweat would come down and pour into your eyes and everything.
Yeah, I remember that because when they handed us those sweatbands to put on, I went like, what do you know, they just said, you know, put on this bandana. And it's like, what for? And I said, well, if you want to see while you're out there, because you're going to start sweating in this thing. And we went out at like, this was, I believe we were there in the fall, and we went out around 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it wasn't really hot. The sun was, of course, was up, but it was getting near the end of the day. So it wasn't that hot out, but man, were we sweating. I just thought, I can't imagine working these in the summertime.
Well, in our facility down in Florida, they brought in a Winnie the Pooh outfit that they were trying to do, because Winnie the Pooh is one of the more substantial suits, so they thought they could hide it in there. They had a bodysuit that had refrigerant that ran through it, and it would try to cool you off. And it turned out the battery pack and the weight of the refrigerant, you had to be a Superman to wear this damn thing. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm cool, but I can't move.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question, Bill. Have they come up with technology to somehow cool the interior of those costumes?
They've tried it. Then they tried another one with Winnie the Pooh, because he had the big honey pot on his head. They put a fan in there that would try to blow air through in, and it worked well until somebody got their hair into the fan. So that was the end of that one. So the last cure that I remembered was you had 15 minutes on, 45 minutes off. You know, that was
Yeah, I was going to say, that's why you don't see them out, you know, one character out for any length of time. And quite often you'll also see them in shady areas.
Yes.
They'll pick areas where they'll bring them out where they're either got a cover over them of some sort, or it's naturally shaded by a building. You know, parade time, that's another story. Nighttime parades aren't so much a problem, but the daytime parades can be a problem that way. Also, I wonder real quickly,
how do you find people to wear these costumes? They get volunteers for this?
yeah, because they want to be a character.
It's a union job. You get paid really good amount of money, and it's actually fun to do. I used to go down on my weekends, on my days off. That Mark Sturdivant, another producer at the studio, and I would drive down to Disneyland, check out a set of chipmunk suits, and we'd go have fun with it. You know, if you want to be a ham actor, what a better way than dressing up as a chipmunk?
Yeah. I wanted to quickly mention something, Dawn, or two things for you, Dawn.
Okay.
One is I told you about the Route 66 stamps that are coming out this year. They're going to be out on Cinco de Mayo is the issuing date, May 5th.
Wow.
So those will be coming out. And secondly, about a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, I mentioned to you one day that I had found a section of old historic Route 66 that was near us. I happened to be down in that area again recently and realized in my head I had flipped things around. It's historic 395 that I was saying.
Okay.
Because you were going like, I didn't know there was a section of the road down that far, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, I saw it. And it was like, no, 395 became Route 66 because they both, you'll see signs, historic Route 66, historic 395. And that's you know, part of the thing. So I wanted to say, yeah, it was my mistake. It wasn't your fault.
All right.
Yeah, I actually remember that conversation going. I don't remember that being the case, but
No, there was a quick thing that I mentioned it, and you said, "Wow, that's weird," because I've been along most of Route 66, and I don't remember one in the Temecula area, and it wouldn't be because it ends up in Santa Monica, and it wouldn't have come through here. And it was like, no, I saw this historic sign, and then hadn't been down there for a while, and then went down to that street, was driving along, and I looked up and it says historic 395. I went, oh, that's why Don kind of looked at me like, are you sure about this?
Well, Brock, I'm glad you cleared that up. I'm taking this off my list of things I stay up at night worrying about. You know,
have you ever done? Because I didn't join these talks till several years after you had started them. Anything on the 1937 Paris?
No,
exhibition, or 1935 Brussels? I
don't have enough of my own.
Yeah, it's rare, I think, to find stuff about those fairs in the U.S. It'd be great if we could come up with stuff. I mean, I don't have a lot either, but because they're both interesting expositions.
No, it's every now and then people ask, how come you don't do a talk on the whatever fair? Well, I don't have enough on it, or it's the only stuff. I'd have the same stuff that you could find off the internet that I'd be finding. So
right.
Hey Brock, real quick, why are they doing that on 5.5? Why don't they do it on 6.6? Wouldn't that make a better sense to issue the Route 66 stamp on 6?
I have no idea, unless it's the 100th anniversary, I believe, of Route 66. I think that's why they're issuing the stamps, and maybe that's the day it is considered either they opened the first section of it, or it was, I don't know if it's the 100th anniversary of the whole route being completed, or what. I haven't delved into it that far yet. So it may be associated with that, but I just saw it was May 5th and thought, oh, Cinco de Mayo, that's kind of interesting. But it's nothing to do with Cinco de Mayo, of course, but I don't know why that was it.
So,
hey, Randy, this year is the 100th anniversary, but that could mean that it was officially designated, but a lot of it was not actually constructed yet.
Yeah, it could be. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's the 100th anniversary of the beginning of the first sections of the Route 66, or it's the 100th anniversary of the whole stretch being done. So I haven't looked into it closely to see. I just have read a couple of quick announcements.
The anniversary is for the actual idea of Route 66. When the whole highway was named Route 66, even before it was completed, that's the anniversary.
Okay.
1926 when that happened.
Okay.
And so it's the entire highway's anniversary. So a lot of what we know of the highway now wasn't there at the time.
Okay. So it's the beginning. It's for the beginning of Route 66.
Exactly.
Not for the completion of it. Okay.
No. I mean, the thing was rerouted and realigned so many times, it'd be hard to come up with a completion date.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, a first completion, but yeah, it makes more sense that it's the beginning of it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no date at which you could say it's was completed, because in any given city it usually has at least 2 alignments and often 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Well, Brock, I think it's actually the 100th anniversary of the first time somebody drove from Kingman to Oatman and said, holy shit, I'm never going to do that drive again.
Hey, Randy, they did just this week, PBS did a special on the building of the Eiffel Tower that talked about the fair, and so you might look for that. Yeah,
I will. Yeah. There's so many books out over the years about the Eiffel Tower, and they'll mention the 1889 exposition that it was built for, but will often not mention the later expositions that had the Eiffel Tower on their site.
What station did you say had that, Tom?
PBS.
PBS. Okay, thank you.
Look for. It was only designed to last 20 years. It's made out of the most corrosive steel you can imagine. It's all wrought iron.
Yeah.
I know
Tom,
every-
what
every time-
program was it? Do you know? Do you recall?
I don't. They just I didn't get to watch it. I wanted to watch it really, really bad, and then we had something we had to do, and so I just thought, well, I'm gonna try to find it later and watch it. So I guess I could search for it and
Yeah, usually you can find, those shows.
send it out.
They show them.
Well, yeah, PBS has their own streaming station. I don't remember what they call it. It's a certain, yeah. And sometimes they'll repeat it too.
I know
Especially if it was
Oh,
on something
yeah.
like Nova. If it was on something like Nova or one of those shows, they'll repeat it 3 or 4 times during the week even.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time we turn on PBS, it's a pledge drive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hi, I'm
That's
Rick
because they
Stevens,
put
and
something really good on that you want to see.
Anybody
So you record it
remember
and fast forward it later.
the pledge drives they used to have? I was raised up in the San Francisco area, so KQED, they would auction stuff off that was donated. So I don't know if they did this in other regions too, but I mean, they had stuff that was amazing, like houses and art, famous artwork by famous artists, and they would sell, I mean, back in the '60s for a couple $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it would go on for like the week. It was really interesting
No.
to watch the kind of stuff that people had donated.
I don't remember anything like that here. They have their swag, but that's it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what it's become even up in the Bay Area. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, the Chicago PBS station had auctions for fundraising years ago, but they followed the national trend of just going to special programming with donation breaks.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and usually you
thanks,
can, if it's some famous artist or meaning a musical artist, and you can get special packages of a DVD or a CD or like that of them if you pledge a certain amount.
Yeah, I just watched the other night. I hadn't seen it. It was like a 2-hour thing with Barbara Streisand. She supposedly was the
Yeah,
last concert. Yeah, it
I
was.
watched part of that.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it originally, so I happened to be channel surfing. There it was. Yeah, they were just, you got like a certain level, you got a singles CD. Next level, you got her book and whatever. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the pledge drives we saw. The event that I did last week where the Grogu was, they had a auction. This guy Garner Holt is really great. He does a thing where he brings in underprivileged kids, and he actually goes out to juvenile detention centers and brings a portable lab out there where the kids can design figures and that. But one of the things that they were auctioning off was a tour of the Disney studios for a party of 6, and so it was Becky Klein, the head of the archives, and Michael Vargo, the head of D23. And they started, well, we go at $500, $600, and we at $510, $520, and they get to $700, $800, okay, $1,200, and then somebody puts up their hand, $5,000. Well, that ended
Cool.
there. But I was sitting there, I said to Becky later on, I said, now I know I'm getting a real bargain every time I come in for lunch.
Yeah.
$5,000 to go for a tour of the studio. And I think about, how many times it is funny, you do things and you do take them for granted. And to us, it's like, oh, I'm going to go to the studio and, do something. And then $5,000. Whew, that was a nice donation.
Speaking of Becky, she said she's not really doing D23 anymore.
Really?
Yeah, she's trying to wean herself away from it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was at my table at dinner, but we didn't have a great deal of time to talk because I had to talk during dinner. But
yeah, right.
it was I told Carol as I'm driving to this thing, Carol will appreciate this. Years ago, I gave a talk in Long Island, and it was everything that could go wrong. You get there, and they had a projector and a laptop, and they didn't have the cables to make the projector fit my laptop, right? And they didn't have Office on their laptop. It was a mess. So we go to a camera store in town and ask, does he have a cable to go from this type projector to that type of laptop? And the guy says, oh yeah, I have one here, but I it's only the only one I have. And I said, well, how much for it? He goes, well, I'll loan it to you. And it was nice. He didn't ask for a deposit or anything. We raced back to the restaurant, get everything set up. And now this is lunch, but to me, it's breakfast time. So we just flown in the night before. I'm really hungry. And I said, I need something to eat. And he says, no time, there's no time. You just got to go out. I said, I need something to eat or I'm going to faint out there. So they gave, I got a roll and I mean, just a dry roll, eat it, get out there. And I'm doing the talk and 3/4 of the restaurant of this group that I'm giving the talk for, the other part is just normal people doing whatever. And I'm going through and I'm talking about the World's Fair and this and, oh, a question over here. Yes. What can I answer for you? Can I have more water?
Oh gosh.
I mean, talk about throwing the what you call it, I said, I don't do water. Somebody go get her some water. And I said, as long as you're doing that, bring me another roll. But I mean,
Tom, I just looked up on the internet PBS Eiffel Tower, and I think I got the name of that show you're talking about.
Wonderful.
And I'm sorry?
Oh, I said wonderful.
Well, I mean, take a look at it. Maybe you'll find that it's still going to air again.
What is the name of the program?
I just typed in Eiffel Tower. It's the building of the Eiffel Tower, I think.
Okay,
Yep,
so it's
that's
not,
right.
it's not
Yeah,
like a,
Darren-
it's not like a
Darren
Nova program.
Put down Eiffel Tower building the impossible. I think Darren
Oh,
put
Oh yeah,
that in there.
YouTube.
I
Awesome. Look
didn't-
up YouTube.
This was not
Look up
YouTube.
YouTube.
This was on PBS on their website.
Okay.
all right.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
just-
maybe it was
yeah.
part of like the Nova series or something, but
Yes, it is Nova.
oh, it is part of the Nova series.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will also broadcast a couple other times this week, usually.
Great. Well, hope folks have a great weekend. Don't freeze, don't melt. It's whatever your particular affliction is. It's going to be hotter than hell out here. So it maybe
How hot?
99,
Not 90s, yeah.
99.
73 where I am. 73 here. Perfect.
Well, I'll be
Everybody
in
take
Utah.
serve.
Yeah.
Bill, I'll be in Utah in July. So
Are you going to
that's
come and
going to be
see me?
hot.
Scott,
It'll
are
be
you going
hot.
to come see
Yeah.
me?
No, I'm going to Monument Valley.
Oh, yeah, cool. Make
I
sure
always
you-
wanted to.
Yeah, there's
Right.
five national parks down there, and Zion's is my favorite because it has the Goblin Valley, in
Well,
Bryce Canyon. Yeah.
Right now, our plans are we're going to Monument Valley. We're going to the Grand Canyon.
Uh-huh.
After that, we're going to visit some of my wife's friends in Sedona.
So
Oh, yeah.
Then we're going down to Phoenix, and I want one day in Tombstone because I've always wanted to go to
Yeah,
old
go to Boot Hill.
Tombstone. Yeah, I'm going to look for some friends of mine. But one or two of my former coworkers are living in Phoenix, so we may hook up. And you're going to put some retired paramedics from New York City together. Watch the news. One of us may get arrested. So
Hey, Wayne,
Yeah.
do you know, did they ever rebuild Old Tucson after the fire?
Hmm.
Old Tucson is now owned by the same company that owns some of the narrow gauge railroads. I'm trying to think which one it is, but they are back in business and have expanded their activities. I haven't been over there, but it looks like it's a great family place.
We enjoyed it. You mentioned the places you're going to. We first of all, what you call it, Monument Valley. We were there a number of years ago, and you have to pay for the the Indian tribes to go for driving around. But if you're a fan of John Wayne movies at all, I mean, stand there at Ford Point and look out over those. And for modern stuff, I look and I go, oh, that's where they kept Airwolf supposedly in the TV show. But then I'm a big fan of the TV show, The High Chaparral, and they did that at Old Tucson, and you could walk out there, and there was the ranch house, and it still had the sign for it and everything. And then down near Tucson is a really beautiful nature area called Sabino Canyon. And Carol and I went through that. It's got water flowing through it and beautiful pools, and you know, you can drive all the way up to the end and walk down or drive down or whatever. But that I enjoyed that out there. It was
Can you
also
send that to me, Bill?
Sabino. I think it's Sabino. There was a restaurant also in Tucson. I can't remember the name of it. That if you wore a tie, they would cut the tie off.
Yeah.
And when you went into the restaurant, there were hundreds or thousands of ties hanging there. And a buddy of mine, being a real wise ass, we went there, and this guy Carol knows, Dave Hensel. He went there and he wore a tie, and they made a big thing about they come over and they shine lights and are going to cut the tie off. Well, he had a tie made out of Mylar.
No.
They finally
have a
told him
place
if
like
they didn't
that.
give him the tie, they would hang him from the tie up in the rafters. So
There's
A
a,
place like that north of Tucson, they do the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah, there's-
there's a Frasier episode that has that happen. You know, the dad, the retired cop, takes, you know, I'm sure we've all seen the show at one time or another. Yeah, the two priggish sons takes them into this, you know, like steakhouse or whatever. And what first thing the waitress does, walk up and cuts Niles and Frasier's ties off. Yeah.
yeah,
You know, there's one of those places around Riverside, I believe, in this general area that I'm in now. At least it was there years ago. I went there one time, didn't wear a tie. I was a kid, but yeah, there are all the ties hanging. It's a steakhouse, and I think there's a few of them around the country.
There's
Well-
one that's north of Scottsdale, Arizona, too.
Yeah.
This guy Dave Hensel, he had a sense of humor. We were going someplace on some trip, and we went into a place and it had like we ordered, do not order your steak what you call it
Well done.
well done. The chef will not like it. So when the waitress comes, she says, "What do you like?" I said, "I like a steak medium rare." And Dave says, "Oh, can I get a steak done in well done?" Son of a bitch. This is no joke. The chef comes out with his meat cleaver in his hand and said, "Did somebody ask for a well done steak?" Not at our table, we didn't. He turned around and says, "I just love doing that to people." He said, "I don't care."
Bill, there is a bar, I don't know if it's still open, Lower Manhattan. They don't take your tie, they take the women's bras, and they're all hanging from the ceiling.
I think I'll stay away from that one.
It's a wild one. It's a wild place. I forget the name, but
Well, look it up. We want to know.
Imagine going in there by accident. Oh, I had first date. What an impression.
yeah, there were some crazy places I went to in my youth.
Well, Carol, she's been asking me to take her to some place for Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day is our wedding anniversary. And we're saying, where are we going to go to dinner? No, we're not going to go to New York for dinner.
Why
We used to
not?
have a German restaurant right near here that we really liked, and it went out of business.
Your anniversary is Tuesday, mine's next
And they
Saturday.
went out of business. So I don't know where we'll go.
Bill, what number?
There's one on Long Island.
This
It's a
will be
bit far.
Randy wants to know what year this will be. This will be 42, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
You think
And-
so?
Well,
Yeah,
42 years.
42 years, and we've actually been, that makes us together 51 now. So
Wow.
My anniversary is next Saturday. It's 55 years.
wow.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Carrie and I had our 50th on the 20th of February.
Wow, time
Good.
flies fast when you're having fun.
Yeah, that's no
Uh,
kidding. Said that a few times.
Oh,
Yeah, I
good.
feel like a baby. Mandy and I just had our 30th just last month.
Ooh,
Yeah, you are a baby.
You are young.
Young
Yep.
So I'm gonna
whippersnapper.
spend my 55th here with you guys next Saturday.
Yeah,
Wow.
cool.
Ah,
I don't think your wife will like that.
No, she probably won't.
Well, it'll be 44 for us the day before Halloween. We got married October 30th.
Oh, mischief night.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Well, for me, getting married on St. Patrick's Day, being Irish, was wonderful because I'll never forget my anniversary. So
That's smart.
everywhere you want to go is full of drunken Irish people. My airplane club, we'd have to go there every year for St. Patrick's Day, and Carol was like, "It's our anniversary. Do I have to eat corned beef cabbage again?"
Carol, you
I
don't
actually like that.
You don't like corned beef and cabbage?
No,
Oh, I
I
love it.
do, I do, and I
I
don't
like
get
it.
it normally, but it was just the gathering was not for us. It was
Oh, okay.
for the club.
It's one of my favorite dishes. Seriously.
Really?
No, I like it too. I make it usually once a year.
Yeah.
If you cook it in a good dark beer, that makes it even better.
Well,
No,
I don't like
No
beer,
such
but
thing
other
as
than
good
that,
dark beer.
No, it's the flavor. It's not the.
My wife hates the smell of the cabbage. She can't
Yeah, me
stand that.
too. Me too. Ugh.
I like corned beef and
I
cabbage.
love boiled cabbage. Sometimes I'll
I
just,
like the cabbage better than the beef.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll just buy a head of cabbage and boil it.
Wow.
Tough cabbage
Save
for
it.
me.
Have it as a side dish for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Do you remember that Smother Brothers song, Boil a Cabbage Down?
Yeah, boil that cabbage
That's
down,
an
boil that
oldie.
cabbage down.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one, but
There's a very famous Donald Duck Uncle Scrooge cartoon where boiled cabbage plays a giant part in it. So
Huh, funny.
I'll let you all go search that out and find it out. I'm gonna go in the meantime, take care of my lunch.
Yeah.
My
All right.
Have a
My
good one.
grandpa-
Bye-bye.
my
Great.
grandpa used to say, Lutefisk is so good, we have to have it once a year.
Ugh.
Well,
I think-
bye-bye and bye bonds.
Yes.
Thanks,
Be
Bill.
back.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next